Hello and welcome to the Aligned Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Torrie Thompson. So this week we are going to talk about supplements, something that I use personally, have used for a long time, used with all of our clients. So really with supplements, we're looking at what do we need to take? Do we really need to take supplements? Are all supplements created equal? There's so much information out there. There's so many types of supplements. How do you even know what to take? So in 2023, it was estimated that the supplement market was about $177 billion. And it's estimated that it's going to probably hit around $327 billion by 2030. So this is a huge industry. And anytime an industry is huge, there's a lot of great companies. There's a lot of not so great companies. So how do you know that you're getting good supplements? What's essential? What's not? All of that. So unfortunately, not all supplements are created equal. There is really no FDA regulation before they hit the shelves. So supplement companies don't have to get pre-approval. They're basically up to themselves to kind of police and make sure that it is a quality ingredient, nothing bad in it. There's a lot of brands that use amazing high quality ingredients, but there's a lot of brands that use very, very low quality ingredients, have fillers that are associated with lots of health issues. And there's a lot of poor bioavailability, meaning supplements that your body can't actually absorb. So you're basically, I always say, paying for expensive pee. A lot of these brands use things like hydrogenated oils and titanium dioxide, BHT, and these are all things that research shows are linked to gut issues, cancer, all these horrible effects, but they're in supplements. One of the main problems is that there are a lot of supplement companies that have either been bought out or just are started and owned by huge pharmaceutical conglomerates as well as big food industry. So if you're looking, we've got Centrum owned by Pfizer, now under GSK. We have One A Day owned by Bayer. We have Nature Made owned by PharmVite, which is backed by Otsuka Pharmaceutical. We have Emergency under Pfizer. We have Flintstone under Bayer. We've got Sundown Naturals, Nature's Bounty, and Osteo Bioflex, all part of the Bountiful Company, which is acquired by Nestle. So we have some of these huge pharmaceuticals owning some of the biggest supplement brands. And so when we look at some of these companies that own or of these supplement brands, here are some of the ingredients found in these mainstream ingredients or mainstream supplements. We have titanium dioxide, and it's used to whiten the pills and the capsules, give them that really crisp white color. It's banned in the EU as a food additive due to cancer concerns and inflammation, still legal in the US and still used in many of our supplements. We have hydrogenated oils or trans fats. These are found in older formulations of the One A Day and Centrum. They're linked to cardiovascular disease and inflammation. We have artificial colors. We have, red 40, yellow 6, blue 1, and these are to give our supplements a color, and they are also used in kids' vitamins. So the Flintstones are something that we see a lot of these red dyes. We see it in Emergency. We see it in a lot of these other brands, that anything that has a color to it. And it's associated with hyperactivity and behavioral issues in children. It's banned or restricted in many countries worldwide. We have magnesium stearate. When used in excess, it's used as a flow agent, and in higher amounts can interfere with nutrient absorption and damage the gut lining over time. And then we have talc, corn syrup, aspartame, artificial sweeteners, all of these things linked to various health effects found in chewables and gummies. Aspartame is a neurotoxin for certain sensitive people, can also be very hard on the gut lining. So I always think of, my parents always tell me this story when I was little. I wasn't a healthy eater. It's no secret. I did not enjoy anything healthy, really. I didn't eat fruit. The only vegetable I liked was canned green beans. And so my parents would make me have Flintstones vitamins. And I loved them so much that they had to be locked up because they were like candy. And so there's a story of me when I was little. I was sitting on the counter and my aunt had given me a Flintstones vitamin, left it out, and I grabbed it and was like shoving them in my mouth. And Really goes to show how good they tasted, right? But it's not without any issues. They are known for having aspartame, artificial dyes, synthetic forms of folic acid, hydrogenated oils, and cupric oxide, which is used as a pesticide and not an available form of copper. So that's in there, but these are all these recommended, vitamins. Flintstones have always been doctor recommended for our kiddos. However, they have really harmful ingredients in it. So let's say you are buying from a reputable brand, right? You're not buying from Nature Made or Centrum, but you're one taking just, one and done, a multi. I'm very opposed to multivitamins, and the biggest reason is there's usually so many ingredients in them that your body can't absorb all of them. They're also usually very, very small amounts of everything. So you're just getting these trace amounts of vitamins and minerals if you are. But the biggest issue is the bioavailability, and that's because often they're using really cheap forms of that vitamin. So a few examples if we're looking at vitamins is folic acid versus methylfolate. Most of the cheap multivitamins are going to use folic acid, which is a synthetic form of folate. The problem is the majority of the population has methylation mutations, which basically reduces their ability to take a form of folate and convert it into the usable form, which is methylfolate. So if you have a methylation issue, often you can't use this folic acid, so you're not going to get the B9 in there. You want to look for something that's either the L5-MTHF or just methylfolate. The next is in the B family, it's cyanocobalamin versus methylcobalamin. This is a form of B12. And so most of the drugstore, big brand multis are going to use cyanocobalamin. This is the cheapest form of B12. It's very poorly absorbed. Your body has to convert it to the methylcobalamin form, the methylated B12 form. And the cyano does refer to cyanide. It does have a trace amount of cyanide. It's a very, very small amount, but again, why go there when you could take the more bioavailable form, which would be the methylcobalamin or methyl B12 form. Then we have magnesium oxide versus the other forms, magnesium glycinate, malate, threonate. And this is something we see in multis. We also see it in just magnesium supplements, as well as a lot of the electrolyte drinks nowadays will be high in this magnesium oxide. Magnesium is a key mineral. It's used for over 300 enzyme reactions in our body. Yet most multivitamins are going to use this magnesium oxide form. It has very poor absorption, less than 4% bioavailability. It can often cause gut issues and loose stools commonly seen, and it doesn't help support relaxation, sleep, detoxification, mind racing, any of that. So what you want to look for is magnesium glycinate, and this is going to really calm the body. So if you want muscle relaxation or sleep, magnesium glycinate is your guy. Magnesium malate, this is for energy. This is for recovery. And then magnesium threonate is really the mind guy. If you've got mind racing, anxiety, anything like that, or you're looking for cognitive support, magnesium threonate is your guy. So there's many forms like this. And so it's really making sure that you're taking the most bioavailable form of vitamins, not just the cheapest. Going to Costco, buying the biggest bottle you can for cheapest, it does not help you in the long run. Again, if you can't absorb it, it doesn't really do you any good. The next thing is something that we see a ton of now, and I think it's just going to continue to get worse, is the Amazon counterfeits. And so we get emails probably once a month now warning us from certain supplement brands about that their products have been found counterfeit on Amazon. And so there is the actual manufacturer might have an Amazon that you can buy from. However, most people aren't looking at who it's coming from. So often people buy the cheapest, right? You might see, I just saw Cellcore. Their bottle of biotoxin binder generally retails for about $80, $85. Well, on Amazon, the bottle looks exactly the same. It says it's coming from Cellcore. It says Cellcore Biosciences, but it's $66. And when you look at it, it's a slightly different label. However, most people aren't looking that close, right? And so many of these brands we're seeing Cellcore, Thorne, Designs for Health. All of these brands are warning people about the counterfeits. The problem is when you are buying from full script or directly from the manufacturer, you know what you're getting, right? You can see their ingredients. You can see if they're testing standards. When you're buying counterfeits, you have no idea what you're getting. They've tested a lot of these and found crazy chemicals or crazy ingredients in them. So you want to make sure if you're buying on Amazon, you are buying from that manufacturer directly, not buying just a third party. It's way too risky to be throwing, it's way too risky to be taking your chances with possibly a counterfeit to save $10 or so or get it in 2 days rather than 3 or 4 days. You really want to be buying from full script, from the manufacturer themselves on some sort of verified, either the third party that's for supplement sales that the manufacturers directly provide to, like full script, or from the company themselves. Something else that we see all is, whether it's influencer marketing or just marketing on social media, is these trendy cure-all supplements. Whether it's chlorophyll, it's Armra colostrum, it's ashwagandha, it's sea moss, there's always something that is the cure-all. Cured my skin, and you see all these influencers, it cured my skin, I'm sleeping better, my bloating is gone. Influencer marketing is a real thing, right? People are being paid to promote to their audience, whether they use it or not. Some influencers are very honest and will only promote products that they use and love, and a lot of them are not. So you have to be careful of the influencer marketing as well as just marketing that claims to be the cure-all. Supplements can absolutely help, right? There are things that you can take that can help move the needle, but there is no supplement that is a cure-all. I'll also really warn you, that is kind of taking the same approach as Western medicine. It's using a pill for an ill. Rather than figuring out why you're having bloating or why your skin isn't clear or why you don't have enough energy, it's just taking a supplement and hoping the symptoms go away. Very similar to how you would take a prescription and hope that your symptoms go away. So you have to be very mindful of anything that is advertised as a magic bullet, cure-all, fix-it. Really the way to get your body to a healthy state is having a low toxic load, essential vitamins and minerals, drainage, great liver, gallbladder, health, eating well, sleeping well, staying hydrated. That is the way to have a very healthy body. It's not through colostrum or through, sea moss or chlorophyll or celery juice or whatever it is. You really, to stay healthy, it takes time, patience, and consistency. One of the most common pushbacks I get on social media is, I don't need to take supplements, I eat well. And that might have been the case 50, 100 years ago, but not today. It's a completely different world because our soil is so nutrient depleted. We've used crazy amounts of pesticides. The food today is not the same food that your grandparents ate 50, 75 years ago. It's just not. And so if you're trying to get all of your vitamins and minerals through food, you are going to be most likely in a depleted state. Luckily, you could test, right? You can run some tests and see how much of these vitamins do you have in your system. But it's, the food is not the same, the soil is not the same. And then we've been exposed to a very, very high amount of toxins. We have more toxins now than they had 20 years ago, way more than they had 50 years ago. And so when you have these high toxins, whether it's plastics, pesticides, VOCs, and building materials, they're going to burn through your nutrients faster because your body's trying to move them. So this higher toxic load, soil depletion, genetically modified crops, that all can kind of set us up for not having plenty of minerals from our food. And then we have gut issues. So most people seem to have gut issues these days, whether it's leaky gut, SIBO, gut inflammation, all of that. When there's gut inflammation and gut imbalances, you are not going to absorb as many vitamins and minerals into your gut. So take that your food already is less nutrient rich than it used to be, and now you can't absorb it as well, or your body is plowing through its minerals because of a high toxic load, and it is setting you up for being in a depleted state. A 2004 study in the Journal of American College of Nutrition found that between 1950 and 1999, the nutrient content in 43 crops declined significantly, especially in calcium, iron, vitamin C, and B2. So That was in 1999. Imagine where we're at in 2025. I would imagine we're probably far more nutrient depleted than we were back then. That was, 26 years ago. So, what do we look for in supplements? One, I do believe that most people need supplements. I think it differs from person to person, depending on your lifestyle, depending on how you eat, depending on genetics. I think there's lots of factors, but I do believe people need supplements. So if you're going to buy supplements, what do you want to look for? You want to buy from reputable brands. You want to buy from basically practitioner or medical grade brands. So these are things like Designs for Health, Cellcore, Seeking Health, Quicksilver. You want them that are not owned by pharmaceuticals or have not been bought out by big corporations. You want third-party testing, and many of these companies will give you their testing. Are they testing for heavy metals, pesticides, other things in their supplements? And often they will give you the test results. You want the methylated form of your bees. That is one of the biggest things, is making sure it's methylfolate, methylcobalamin. And then you want no additives. So we want no titanium dioxide, no artificial colors, no sugar. You want, nothing. If you read it, it's usually, you'll see all of the supplements and vitamins listed, and then at the bottom it'll say additional ingredients. If it's a 3-inch thing of other ingredients, you want to run, right? You want as minimal other ingredients in there. Yes, there's going to be something else. They often have to use a little bit of filler in supplements. But if there's 6, 7, 8, or I even go 3 or 4 ingredients, you do not want to take that supplement. And then you want to make sure that it's the right dose for you. Again, working with someone that can help you. But a lot of the cheaper brands do use very, very small amounts of supplements. They're not high enough to actually really help anything. So if it's cheap, if it's at Costco, if it's a huge bottle, generally run. You don't want to be buying these things from, Costco or a lot of these, going to just your normal grocery store. You want to buy from reputable brands that are testing, that are using good ingredients, that are, making stuff here. And that will get you good quality supplements. So I usually recommend going through Fullscript. Everything there is directly through the manufacturer. And so, you're getting good quality ingredients in good quality brands there. So thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next week.